Sailor Pluto Tissa here, and today I'm going to talk about, you know, this thing that happens. Alright, so everyone who's ever watched any of our films would always want to know, oh, why we don't skim anything out. Why we don't put in any lighting work, which we already have light on anyway. Why we don't put a beginning, middle, and end sheet to our film. Why we don't unput any songs to our film or anything like that. First off, any of these tools take too much time, you know, and they're all weak, you know. And that's the first grounds to why we don't cut or skim or clean our films. And I know some of you folks out there are going to get irked and say, oh, you made this film before. Our YouTube fairway, if you want to make a film on it again, we can. So, all these film shifting tools out here are too weak. None of them work well. And they're not really that outstanding. See, I don't care what anyone says, they're not really outstanding. I mean, back in the day, I had small soft. I worked with a small soft Windows film maker, which would be earnest. Oh, it could give you a beginning, a middle, and end sheet to your film. It could make things brighter or darker. But when you want to cut something out, that's when it became a hit and miss. That's when you were asking for your film to get besmirched. You know? And on top of that, any shifts you did make to your film, it always took too long to fillet. Yeah, mine see that. Always taking too long to fillet. And all we would really do back in the day is we might make the film lighter, and we might be giving them a middle, a beginning, and an end sheet. And at the end of the day, it would just take too long to fillet. And when you want to cut something out, it was gonna be a hit and miss, meaning that you would get it where it would work, and you could still pull the rest of your film together, or you get it where you cut in half and you couldn't do nothing with any of the slights of the film, and you had to bring it back together again anyway. Then there was the ArcSoft Web Shooter Friend and the ArcSoft Film for Layer, which are lies when it comes to their names. All they really were was just a watered down offshoot of the SmallSoft one, with the lighting and the beginning and end sheets to your film. You couldn't cut nothing out. That was broke. I seeked many times and nothing would happen. And everybody keeps saying, oh, it's not that kind. Well, if it's not that kind, why has it got double blades on it then? So that was broke. That didn't work at all. But the only thing it was good at was it was faster for laying your film. Way more faster than the SmallSoft one. Then the last one I ever worked with was the Interweb Hookup Strength Overseer. Well, this one wasn't that good. The one I ended up getting was broke. The only thing you could do was film. It couldn't do nothing else. So I don't want to hear about how these film shifting tools are so wonderful and so outstanding when they're not. And I know some folks are gonna talk. Some folks are gonna talk about. Are gonna say, what about Apple's? How about the Apple's Macintosh iFilm? Well, that's shit too. That's weak, and that probably is nothing really outstanding about it either. Sony Vegas, same thing. Shit. Macicam, shit. Last Cut, shit. I don't care. They're all too weak. They don't really do anything outstanding when it comes to your beginning and end sheets or lighting, or some of them can cut things out, some of them can't do shit. Others, the only thing they can do is film. Most of them are either broken or don't work well or take too long to fillet the films. or besmirch your film when you want to cut something out. So that's why you don't do it. And I know some folks out there are going to say, oh, well, there's always a VLC player. Yeah, that's shit. Yeah, the only thing the VLC player is good at is playing disses, film disses. That's it. You can't do anything else. At least the one I have. And there's also the small soft Windows film shifter, which is just a new name for the old tool, which probably behaves the same way the old tool behaved like. And then after that, we also have, and don't forget we got the YouTube shifter, which is fucked up, too hard to work, probably is weak with everything else. Probably takes too long to fillet any shifts that you have made to your film. Is that be lighting or beginning, be lighting or end sheet or whatever the fuck? Cut something out. Probably besmirch your film there. So at the end of the day, that's why we don't skim our films or clean our films or cut our films with any film skimming or cleaning or cutting tool. And I don't care if it's free or something you have to buy. Same thing at the end of the day. I know everybody's going to have their forgivenesses for every one of these tools. They will. Haters used to always scathe us by saying something like, slide us, oh, shifting is your friend. Well, it was not a friend to me. I don't want to hear about how it was a friend, because none of those tools I worked with were friends to me. They were foes. All they did was make hard work more hard work. You know? So that's why we don't cut nothing out of our films. That's why we don't unput anything. And oh, yeah, well, do you want to get a hang up with ownership? Yeah, that's why we don't unput any songs or anything in our films. Don't want to get in a bind with that. You know? So anyway, it takes too much time. They don't really work very well, and end up doing a lot more harm. They end up don't really do anything outstanding to your films anyway. So that's why we don't skim or cut or clean our films. That's why we don't do it. So anyway, if you like that film, then follow me over here at Sailor Moon for Life. Watch the last film we made yesterday over here. I Sailor Pluto Tissa, and I'll see you later. Bye.